was Unfriended actually 2013?
It was released in 2014. It may have been shot in 2013.
Just all of the like dates in the movie were 2013.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, is this a throwback or?
So the movie is set in 2014. And then they talked about how the continuity, I don't know if it was continuity error, but I did find that in the trivia that it went between 2013 and 2014. Even though it's set in 2014, all of the dates on the chat say 2013 for some reason.
Was it because they were looking at the chats from a year ago when Laura died?
So I'm not sure because there are some that I think are also recent that go back to 2013. But I did watch a video that was like, here is all the continuity errors in this movie. Fun fact, a lot. There are a lot of them. So, or just like errors of anybody who uses anything on the internet would
definitely had a lot of complaints about how they were using the internet for sure.
Oh, yeah.
There's one part that was like, oh, this video has 75,000 views, but 0 subscribers to the YouTube channel. And I was like, oh yeah, that's not likely to happen.
That's totally, that's normal. They must have just gone temporarily viral for pooping.
It was just that one. Yeah, makes sense.
But they were like, oh, there's no more.
No one wants to see the follow-up.
Yeah, there's no more poop content on this channel. I'm not subscribing.
Hi, welcome to Never Show the Monster. I'm Kelly Attaway.
I'm Chelsea Hollander.
And with us today is special guest. I went into your last name straight away. Our special Ragolia, Nate Guest.
Yeah, it's Nate Guest. Your Ragolia for the evening. Hey, thanks for having me on this podcast, too. It's fun to be here.
Yeah, I love hanging out with you. So glad that you could make it. And I know that you
yeah.
love horror, too. So it was a natural fit.
I do. And I feel slightly guilty for pseudo-subjecting the show to this theme concept.
Absolutely
not. That I think it's all bad, but...
No, I had a lot of fun with both of these movies.
Oh, yeah.
Good. Yeah, I mean, yeah, we'll get into it. But yes, I thought they were both delightful in at least small measures, if not in very great measures for one of them in particular.
Yeah. And had either of you seen either of them before?
I'd seen Host before.
So I have also seen Host before, which is not the focus of this episode. This episode is going to be Unfriended, but we may make callbacks to Host, which will be next episode.
Yeah, this was my first experience of both films.
So you recommended Unfriended, and I was like, oh, okay, it's got to be pretty all right. Or you had brought up the list of movies.
I kind of dug in and was like, well, this one seems like it could be interesting because it was sort of labeled as like, groundbreaking, genre creating, and it certainly is for what it's worth. It's just, I think there are some flaws with the way the film is constructed narratively and just kind of generally, I don't know, like acting and special effects and
But I'm so glad you brought it up because I'm really happy that we watched it because I feel like there is a lot to talk about with it, especially since we are currently all in digital screens right now. So we are basically, as you said before, living the movie right now.
I mean, we could be this would be awesome, listener, if we were making a meta podcast episode where this was actually just a horror movie.
Okay, how old is everybody's house? Yeah, like what's going on?
I think
Should I light a candle?
The 70s. But I'm in Seattle, so everything's haunted here.
Yeah, mine's 1910. I keep wanting to go to like the library to find out if anybody died here.
I'm in the East Coast now, so it's,
you're in something ancient.
All haunted. There's hundreds of years, plus a whole lot of murdered peoples of all sorts of situations. So
perfect. Yeah. So tonight's the night. I think this will turn into a horror movie.
Let's all light a candle and say a prayer.
I was gonna say I have that Tom Petty candle.
Oh, I've got a Snoop Dogg candle in the next room. Should I go get it?
Yeah, I'm going to get my candle.
All right, I'll be right back. Hold on.
Nice. I have no candles, so I will be doing nothing. I'm just going to do what everybody in a horror movie does and mock the idea that this could ever be dangerous, because how could it? Technology just makes us stronger, and there's no reason for us to fear anything. Ha ha ha, I'm that character.
So you're the one that's going to get killed off first?
Oh, yeah.
Because you don't believe in it?
Or I'm going to generate the very horror that should not exist because of my modern views on things,
on technology and the
technology
realm.
And science and come
science,
on. I mean, whatever. Like, why would a ghost be in the internet anyway? That seems stupid.
That's great. If I were a ghost, that's probably where I'd want to be. A lot of content, a lot of things to consume. All right. So do we want to jump into talking about Unfriended?
Yes.
All right. So Unfriended came out in 2014. So that was a time when there wasn't a lot of, I think they call it screen life supernatural horror. So just basically horror movies that are told completely through, or movies at all that are told completely through screens. There were a couple movies that came out before that. I think a movie called The Den that was also told through a screen, or may have just had computer supernatural elements to it. But I was trying to look up all the movies, and there's not a lot. There is like a snippet in, I think, VHS where there's like a Skype call that's a horror bit. But
okay.
Yeah. So I was like, there's that one, and there have been a couple, but this one I think was the only one that's told only through a screen. I could be wrong. I'm willing to take that if I'm wrong. The budget was $1 million.
That seems high.
Yeah, I agree. And it was all shot in one house aside from one guy. Only one guy was not in that house with them.
Ken.
Which one was it?
I was going to have you guess.
Is it Ken?
Ooh.
How'd you know?
Because his house had a different vibe. I'm talking vibes tonight, friend.
It is definitely a different vibe. Yeah, Ken was the one, Kennington. He was in a different place the entire time. Everybody else shot in different rooms. I think they were allowed to decorate their own rooms. And that's kind of why you see some characters in the laundry room, in the living room. But everyone just had to stay in a different room.
Were they actually on a Zoom? Do you know? I was thinking about acting the scenes.
Completely acting them out as if we were each character.
Yes, that's what I'm proposing.
Well, I mean, if we want to do that, I'll just pull up a chat log and only be in the chat log the entire time. That's how we want. So then you'll just pop around the corner. Like, I'll just see the corner of your head for 90% of the movie.
No speaking dialogue, but a lot of text. I do better in text anyway.
They did. So when they originally released the film, they also had a cut where I'm sure you guys noticed that whenever she got on the chat log, everybody else was like muted. And you couldn't hear any dialogue anymore. They had one where none of the dialogue was muted and everyone could hear everyone.
Oh, I bet that was
interesting.
Hard to
I think it was distracting. I think people were trying to listen to the audio, but the audio wasn't supposed to be important. And then we'll get into this at the like beginning of the film and what the film was based on. I think we can kind of start about that, but it's also this movie. They said that they were trying to make it, or the guy who directed it, Leo Gabrazzi, and writer Nelson Greaves. One of them had the idea back, I think it was Nelson, had the idea back in 1999 to do a movie that was just on a computer screen. However, the actual subject matter of the movie was inspired by something much darker that makes me more upset about the film. I had a feeling before I read about it, and then I read about it, and I have a feeling now. So we'll get into that once we talk about the opening scene.
So first of all, though, we said Zoom. Kelly, you said Zoom earlier, and this is a Skype-based
You're right.
movie.
I'm so sorry.
Zoom doesn't even
Skype.
exist. Zoom is a glimmer in Skype's eye.
I know. And I never really used Skype. So there were screens in this movie that I was like, I believe that that's what Skype looks like. Like, I don't have any experience with it. I believe that that's what it looks like.
How about how old Facebook looks, right? Like that version of Facebook I remember very well. And it's that thing where it's like, at least for a little while, we had our cycles of getting upset every time they changed how Facebook looked.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh yeah, but that looks like shit. So I'm glad it doesn't look like that anymore.
Yeah, it looks real bad.
Yeah.
Messages
is dumb.
too looked bad. Mm-hmm. In fact, when she was talking on messages, I was like, oh, is this like MSN or what is this? Like, had to go look at the screen to see like iMessages. And I was like, oh, well, shit.
Yeah, this should be AOL or something.
Yeah.
This is like To Catch a Predator level typing.
Yeah, so the opening scene of this movie, we just open on a suicide just straight away. Just like right out of the box. We learn that it is Blair. She's browsing around the internet and she's reading an article about a girl that she went to school with who was facing a lot of online bullying. And then there's another video. There are two videos in this opening scene. One of Laura, who is the girl who took her own life, shooting herself. Like it's
a very interesting way to shoot yourself too. Just sort of the way that it's choreographed. And I don't want to be like insensitive to the nature of suicide in any way, but it's like this opening scene is shaky cam, documentary style, very blurry. From middle distance. It's like it's a wide angle, or not wide angle, but it's a wide shot. And she's way off in the distance and sort of like, I don't know, like my interpretation of shooting oneself to death would involve like actually putting the gun in your mouth, not holding it at like 6 feet, like 2 feet away.
No, I agree that the way
holding a shotgun out Like,
was it a shotgun?
It was a shotgun.
I thought it was a handgun.
Yeah, it looked like a revolver to me.
Between a shotgun and a handgun.
Shotguns are long.
Oh, yep, handgun.
In any case, a message from all of us is do not commit suicide by gun or by anything. Call a hotline and talk to people because it'll get better. So don't do that.
Try many antidepressants. I had to take a genetic test to find one that works for me. So ask your doctor.
But anyway, so it's just such a weird way to open the movie. Just like it seems like also such an odd place to do it because I guess, and spoiler maybe for later in the movie, but it doesn't seem like Laura has any sort of, I don't know. It doesn't feel like Laura is taking out any sort of wrath on everybody at the school who would have seen this happen. Like it's a very focused thing. So it almost feels odd that it would be like on a baseball field on campus is what it looks like it is.
Exactly to that point whenever I started watching it. So we're all going on the same journey together. At the beginning, I was like, oh, okay, she's totally possessed. This is going to start off with her being possessed and she's the first victim of whatever happens. And that was my immediate, I was like, oh, okay, she's the first victim of whatever, a chain letter or something that comes through. Like that was my immediate thought. That's not what happens. And I was actually very disappointed that it didn't go that way, which is also kind of, Kelly, I want you to make your point before I go on to...
So my point was, I feel qualified to talk about this because I struggle with suicidal ideation. And what this made me think of is like, sometimes when I'm at work, somebody will ask a very stupid question and I'm like, boy, I wish I could just kill myself on screen right now and make them regret asking that stupid question. Like that's how this scene felt to me, is that she was like, I'm going to do it very publicly, because we can hear that there's a bunch of people standing off to the side, like screaming like, Laura, no, don't. But they're still filming, which is kind of gross. Yeah. But that's how I felt it was, is that she was like, oh, you guys are such voyeurs watching my video. Let's see how you like this.
Yeah. I mean, that's a good...
And I guess I wish that the movie approached that level of consideration about Laura's character at all.
Yeah, I know.
Which is sort of a bummer about it. It's like, because I think essentially like they want to make some sort of very thoughtful point about cyberbullying and everything with this movie, but they don't do anything but just brutally take revenge upon the cyberbullies. Yeah. Instead of being like, hey, look, this really impacts a person in a meaningful way where we're going to show you that horror, which actually would be like, it would be a very difficult movie to watch, but it would also be a very valuable movie because it would personify the person's suffering rather than using them as a thematic set piece. Yeah,
they really handled it pretty clumsily.
So this is based on actual, they started off being based on actual events. Or it's based off of Amanda Todd, who had died by suicide in Canada, and a month later, or a month before, sometime a month apart, there was an Audrey Pott who died in California a month apart in 2012, and it was for very similar reasons. They had things happen at parties in high school, or they had things happen when they were talking to somebody on a virtual screen, and they had that stuff broadcast out later, and then they both, and then as I was looking up these two specific ones, I started to go down a spiral. I don't know what it is, but I went into the internet and there were a lot of names attached to that, and that happening pretty commonly in 2012 and 2013. So, but to that point, basing it on that and then not taking care of it, that's the part that made me gross, because by the end of the movie and how you understand what happens, I don't think that they made it as something that would be helpful for that. No,
they made it a gimmick as a catalyst, and then ultimately they made her the bad guy, you know?
Right. It's like you guys just talked about Candyman. Mm-hmm. And Candyman is a movie that, I mean, the original movie, at least, I've not seen the more recent...
Ooh, you should check it out. It's good.
The more recent Jordan Peele one. But the original movie is like half riff on blaxploitation films, and half like revenge drama and historical piece. Like it's built around an understanding of what like a movie that was just about, hey, if we just have this black guy kill a bunch of white people as revenge for the way that he was treated, it won't actually address the problem. it'll be sort of like woo-ish, but it's not going to like hit the thing. And this is sort of like suicide exploitation in a way. Like, I don't know. That bummed me out. And especially because there's just like, I mean, I'm sorry to keep jumping ahead, but it's just like none of the characters who die seem to have any sort of true redemption either. Like they don't learn any lessons.
No
one learns a goddamn thing in this movie. And the only pittance is death. And that's it. And it's just like gore.
It's like Laura, the girl who killed herself, who ultimately haunts these people through Skype. It's like she leads them to, it's like they're horses and she leads them to the water, but she doesn't let them drink. You know, she's like, let me show you all of the ways that you've been shitty. And like, that's where you would inject a character arc.
Right.
But that's not what happens. That's not what happens at all.
I mean, Blair is set up to have a character arc.
Especially Blair.
Yep.
And then it's just like, oh, cool. The one person who we are literally physically and, just emotionally closest to the entire film because we are acting as a proxy for her.
Exactly.
When we're not looking at her in somebody else's screen. We don't even get to change or recognize anything. It's just like a gotcha reveal at the end that feels empty too.
Yeah.
And even like for a moment in the movie, I thought that we were going to give Blair a redemption arc.
Oh, yeah.
Like toward the end, after all of her friends are dead, spoiler, all of her friends die.
Yeah, guess what? Everybody dies in this movie.
Everybody dies.
Which, you know what? I appreciate that from a horror movie. I don't like the ones where nobody dies. So
haunting in Connecticut. So toward the end, after all of Blair's friends are dead, Blair seems like she's out of the woods. She's like, I did it. I confessed my sin, but she hadn't, is what we learn. She hadn't been totally truthful. But for a brief moment, I really thought like, which I still didn't like, oh, I guess Blair gets to live and she just has to live with this trauma for the rest of her life as punishment for posting shitty things on the internet. Like, I don't know that that's fair either.
The gotcha is that Blair is super gross because she's willing to throw her boyfriend under the bus.
Yeah, that was bad.
As a last act of desperate saving herself.
And that's not the first time that she threw somebody under the bus.
Yeah. I mean, if the point of this movie was to show that teenagers are completely disloyal and horrible, then I guess they achieved that, but that also doesn't accurately reflect real teenage friendships either. Like, no, I think good horror, like good slasher movies that aren't just, fuck 'em and chuck 'em kind of slashers where it's like anybody who has sex is dead and that's the whole point and they're all shallow. Like the characters kind of bond a little bit. I mean, I think about like I Know What You Did Last Summer and some of those 90s ones where it's like they get closer even though they get farther apart because they'll never be the same as friends after the thing that they did. But yeah, like it seems like this group just so low-key despises each other that And hey, maybe I was just lucky and I didn't have a bunch of friends who were just all super shitty to each other in secret. But I would like to think that the majority of people have some sort of real friendships with real people that aren't just predicated on like, well, how many secrets can I keep from these people that are absolutely atrocious and unbelievable.
Agreed. And it also seemed like some of them knew some of the other one's secrets and they were like in on it together. But when it comes down to it, they still are willing to betray that other person. Like, I hear what you're saying. I also want to believe that like teens and adults and children are more loyal to each other than that and more compassionate towards each other. But like, I just want to be clear that the dynamics in this movie were a little more nuanced than everybody out for themselves. There were like tiers of loyalty. Like at the top of the tier is me. I'm looking out for number one. Mm-hmm. Second tier is like, I guess my boyfriend. Like third tier is all these other bitches. like,
did I miss? Like, what did Ken do wrong other than just be the stoner friend?
Well, I think that they all had made separate accounts in order to tell her to go kill herself on her Facebook.
Right.
So I think that he was part of those people that posted on her Facebook. But and I don't know if it's just that group that had that problem, but was it the entire school? Because they made it sound like it was literally the entire school doing it. So is she attacking the entire school?
This would have been more interesting with like a 85 person Skype call.
Yeah. Or Or you just find out that everybody else had the police at the end of it are like, man, this is like the 70th kid this today.
I can't believe all these kids keep sticking their faces in blenders tonight. This is odd.
There are certain parts of it that they also kind of, I don't know if they didn't cut it out for time, but they cut it out. There's a part where Adam and Mitch are arguing, and I don't know if it was during the game or before the game, but during it, you also hear that Jess, the blonde girl, had a crush on Adam, which is referenced back to later, but they cut out that part of the conversation.
Were they not dating? I thought they were dating.
No, they weren't. She had a crush on him, and that part was completely cut out.
Oh.
Yeah, when she was yelling, she was fighting with Blair during that part, and Blair's conversation with her got cut out.
I guess you can still tell that she has feelings for him, because when Blair lets Adam die instead of Moses Storm, Mitch. Sorry, Moses Storm is a comedian who I really like. So when I forgot he was in this movie, so when he showed up, I was like, Moses Storm!
I was also not funny at all in the movie. He did a good job.
Not funny at all. He did
yeah. No one is funny in the movie.
Yeah.
No.
Ken is sometimes. I think.
I mean, Ken's
not
like,
actually funny, but trying to be.
Yeah.
Ken's funny in the way that there's like just
he's the funny friend.
The outlier friend is funny, right?
Yeah,
he's the outlier friend. He's not the hot preppy who's, I guess, going to like have a little masturbation sesh on the Skype that everyone can get into prior to doing that. He's not.
That was my question. How does Skype work? I was like, Zoom would never. There are a couple things I want to talk about right before that scene. First of all, Blair is looking at this suicide video, and then Mitch calls, and they're immediately sexy time. I was like, wow, that is emotional whiplash. Like, how do you go from like watching a girl kill herself, ultimately knowing that you played a part in that, to like showing your tits on also Skype?
Was she watching that video without pants on? I don't remember her taking pants off. So she's basically like bottomless watching this suicide thing.
Yep.
It's odd.
And I don't want to be that person, but where are their parents?
Their dads are out drinking together.
Only for Mitch and Blair.
Oh, the rest of the parents? I don't know.
I mean, they're shooting in the same house. We know that. But in all of those houses, not one of their parents was home.
Them parents like to party?
That would make sense, I guess.
Where were we?
Basically, sexy times with Blair and Mitch happen. Yeah. And then a call comes in, and you were like, Zoom won't let you do that. What is
Zoom
Skype's
would let you
problem?
Do that. Yeah.
Zoom would let you do that?
Zoom would, because it's just a shared link. But they
didn't have a shared link. That was like the thing that they said. They were like, who allowed them? Did you answer the call? And then he was like, no.
And they both said no. Yeah.
Laura answered the call for them.
Laura.
So Laura answered the call, which brought everybody into the thing.
She was trying to call in. I don't understand. Listen, I'm a software developer. I studied computer science. I don't understand ghost computer hauntings.
Not yet.
Yeah.
Not yet. So there's a scene in the movie where Ken is like, I have something for you to download, and he like sends them like a Trojan horse quarantiner thing, and that works temporarily. So in the universe, temporarily kicks her out,
but I don't know if it's all like her plan.
I don't know. I just thought it was funny that like you could get rid of a ghost in your machine with a Trojan horse detector. I was like, okay, so this ghost programmed a Trojan?
I mean, it is like called exorcism.exe. I don't know how to...
They were on a Mac. It was not called .exe.
It was a
DMG.
DMG.
But I like that you said. It didn't dawn on me at all that Ghost in the Machine is a thing here.
Yeah.
Which not at all the literary definition of what it would be, right? But it's
What's the literary definition of Ghost in the Machine? I only know it from the anime, which I watched as a child, so I bet they were doing the literary thing and I just didn't notice.
I believe it's the idea that there would be like a presence that operates a mechanical thing. It's also sort of like the idea that there's consciousness inside like an animal body.
So like Data from Star Trek?
I'm actively looking up the.
I was gonna say,
I can tell Chelsea
Google
is
right
too.
now. So
you were saying the correct thing. It felt right.
It's so it's about mind-body dualism. So it's saying that like there's actual like the Ghost in the Machine is saying that there is a presence that is separate from the biological workings of your body. So the idea would be like
a soul.
Yeah, it would be like there is a soul inside you that operates your body as a robot versus the idea that like all of the thoughts and words and everything that I am generating right now are biomechanically created through, salt and electricity and, hydration and all this other crap.
Have you ever felt that? I feel like I tapped into it once.
Your soul?
Yeah, I feel like... Yeah.
I don't have one, so I don't know what...
I feel like I tapped into the ghost
I've
in the
been
machine.
high too, Kelly, for sure.
No, I wasn't high.
Yeah. No, I'm teasing.
I wasn't high. I took this potion.
Okay.
It was like an anti-hangover treatment.
Oh, okay.
But you take it before you start drinking. And so a friend was in town and we downed these little vials of this super secret potion and just drank so much. Like it should be illegal how much we drank. Like I remember rolling up to the bar already drunk and then later talking to that bartender and he was like, y'all really had a lot of Manhattans. And I was like, I was blackout when we got there. Like we should not have had that much to drink. We went home and he says that we finished a bottle of wine when we got home. So we just we got after it. Oh, and before things got bad, I just want to add this little part of the story. We sat on my balcony doing a puzzle and singing very loudly the soundtrack to A Star Is Born. So it was a really great afternoon in the sunshine. But then the next morning... I was supposed to be not hungover, and I wasn't. I wasn't hungover. I was something else.
Oh, no.
First of all, I didn't wake up until 11, and I was like, this is insane. I never sleep this late, especially when I've been drinking. Like, I should have been up at 7. So I come out into the living room, and I feel like a little tiny person operating the huge robot of my body. I was like, I've seen Gundam Wing. I am a Gundam. Like I'm so little and I have to do this whole body. And I think that was the ghost. I think that was the ghost in the machine of my body. Oh, you know what else happened that day? Oh my God. Nate, I'm about to talk about my uterus. Apologies.
No, hey. Well, you should never apologize for your uterus.
So we took this and then we went to, so my friend was in town to go to a wedding of some of his friends who also lived in Boulder. So we go to their rehearsal dinner and everybody's eating and drinking. And I was like, I am in so much pain. It feels like my uterus is trying to climb out of my body like a rat leaving a sinking ship. Like I had to go outside and sit on the curb and I was just like my IUD knows that something is not right with the C-biotics. Like I should not have put it in my body. So I just had a horrible time with it. 0 out of 10. Do not recommend.
Yeah. Okay. Not going to do that. I do have a uterus, so I want to avoid that.
Yeah. Bad times. But I did get to experience what it was like to have Cotard's syndrome, which is where you believe that your body is dead.
Oh God.
So I was just walking around the next day and we had to go to the wedding. So I'm just walking around the next day like I'm operating a corpse. This is a corpse. And I'm somehow keeping it animated.
Wow.
A couple glasses of champagne and I was right back at it.
Okay, that's good. You might want
Hair of the dog.
Leave a review on that for people to
So after I took it, I got on Twitter because I was part of their Kickstarter, So I know the person who developed it.
Wow.
So I was involved with it early. So I got on Twitter and was looking for reviews and everybody was like, this is great, worked wonders. And I was like, not for me. Why is nobody else talking about Cotard's syndrome?
Oh God.
Nobody else's uterus tried to escape their body.
I'm going to be real with you. That would be, if I read that review, if it had all 5 stars and one star that said that, I'd be like, fuck this. I am not touching it.
Yeah, I should go look at what their reviews are today, see if anybody has mentioned their uterus.
I mean, imagine just any product, not just like something that you consume, but if it was like, hey, these pants are great, but one person was like, these pants made me feel like I literally was no longer alive.
I'd be like, no, thank you.
Yeah, I'd be like, I don't know what's going on with those pants, but this is.
Oh, you don't know what clammy means until you've experienced that.
Although maybe we have just hit on what the next internet wave horror movie is. It's review-based buying stuff, right? And one person keeps leaving reviews about how all these products are killing them, and it only gets that one person.
So I feel like that's more of like a mystery drama. like somebody's investigating them. Like, do these all products come from the same company? Ultimately, the same Etsy seller with many different aliases.
Ooh, yeah. It's like a Halloween 3 situation. Yeah.
All right, we can get back to the movie, I suppose.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, like, I feel like I've had that Ghost in the Machine feeling too, and maybe it was a hangover. I'm also just trying. I feel like there have just been moments where also just being the appropriate amount of high when you're walking around and you feel like I've like on mushrooms. A couple of times I've taken mushrooms where you'll get a glimpse of feeling like you're not actually like you're out of body just a little bit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or like you're pushing yourself in a wheelbarrow just behind yourself.
Oh, weird.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's fun.
I want to do mushrooms so bad. People have told me I shouldn't because my brain is bad, but I want to do them.
I mean, the key for me had always been just like moderating the amount that you take, because some people will be like, take all of them and then just like let people's faces turn into bears and devils and things. It's like,
no,
I don't want
that. Do that. Not my first time, at least. I'm not.
What I like is that every time I've done it, I just get like a generalized hallucination that there's like 16 inches of crystal clear like seawater on the ground. So I'm just walking everywhere and there's this shimmer. It feels like I'm at a sandals resort.
Okay, beautiful.
The trees kind of dance for you a little bit. I don't know. It's just, yeah.
Yeah,
there's good ways to do it.
I want to do that. Yeah, people have told me I especially shouldn't do acid because it's like a 12-hour trip or whatever.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, mushrooms are nice because if you do a little bit, you can get away with it in like 4 to 6 hours and just make an evening of it.
Yeah. I want to go like...
I've never done acid and it scares me, so.
There's this little cabin I go to in the woods with... also
is it full of puzzles that unlock horror movies?
It could be. I haven't opened the under the stairs cabinet yet.
If Bradley Whitford is there, you turn right around.
No, if Bradley Whitford is there, I'm going to high five him and be like, let's see them mermaids. Right? Do I have the right guy?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, he wanted the mermaids, right? Because they come out of the dock and eat him at the end.
Yeah. And he was like, son of a bitch.
Spoilers for Cabin in the
Woods. Great movie. Go check it out. So there's this little cabin I go to with like beautiful stars, surrounded by trees, fire pit, hot tub. It's so nice. And I'm always like, man, I would love to take some mushrooms out here, but I don't know how to get them. I'm too square.
Oh yeah, I don't. I only got them through other people, so I really.
I've got one friend.
I mean, Colorado's getting close to trying to legalize them, so you might just be able to walk down to the 7-Eleven and get them.
Go into Denver and be like, hey y'all, help me out. I'm not bold enough, but they're decriminalized in Denver.
Yeah. So you can have them. Just don't have too many of them.
I'll have a small amount.
There you go.
Just a normal 1-person dose. And then I'll gobble it up and it'll be gone. Okay, we got to get back to this movie.
Sorry for the very long Ghost in the Machine segue that I prompted.
Okay, so we're in the first part of the movie. It's sexy time.
Sexy time. They get interrupted by all their friends who Laura lets into the call.
The call.
And we don't know it's Laura yet. We just see a...
Stranger. It's like the I guess it's no longer an egg emoji on Twitter, is it? It's your no icon person.
It's like a
no user image. Yeah. And I have a complaint about the movie at this point.
At this point? Okay. I think we've been complaining for a good 50 minutes now, so we can keep going with this complaint train.
There's a part. There are several parts where they like purposefully make the audio bad. They like edit the audio to be bad and like distorted. And I was like, I don't need that level of realism. Like, let's not disrupt what's going on with this.
So I have opinions. I have opinions on that and the distortion that they have with the faces as they move around. Because, you know, old Zoom, or not old Zoom, old
face
Skype.
Distortions are okay.
Why didn't they use that? You have a horror movie. Yeah. Use the distortion in the voices. Use the weird, like a demon face should have shown up at least 4 times. Okay, sorry, we got to pop back to demon voices. Do you remember? We're gonna pop back when
we gotta pop back. So at the start of the movie, before things get super sexy between Blair and Mitch, she's like using a demon voice to like flirt with him. Do you remember this?
Yeah, I forgot about that part. Yeah, wow, that was really inconsequential to the entire plot.
That's a big turnoff for me.
Oh yeah.
Demon voices are a turnoff? Are you sure?
Her demon voice
knife.
And
Give
him
me the
pulling
knife,
out the knife.
Mitch.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, okay. And we do have to put a pin in that briefly.
Yeah.
It is there for no reason.
But it should have been.
She's into violent, like, through the screen, insinuated knife point.
Yeah,
stripping.
I like that.
It's the whole reason that scene exists is so he can have a knife. You know, no other logical reason for him to have a knife.
Oh, it's Chekhov's knife.
It's Chekhov's knife.
If we see the knife in the beginning of the movie, he's got to see it real close up at the end.
Yeah.
He stabs himself in the face.
Just right in the eyeball. Yeah.
I think that means it was terrible writing. If we're talking about our one complaint about the entire movie, it is how that one scene, just that one scene, is written.
I mean, I literally have no other problem with the movie other than that. I think it's perfectly fine. Yeah. Anything else I've said previous to that sounded like I had a problem is, hearsay, allegedly.
So pretty quickly in the movie, I'm trying to get us back on track.
Oh yeah. No, please, hard. let's do it. Let's do it.
Pretty quickly in the movie, the gang is chatting and they like give up on trying to get the stranger out of the Zoom. They're like, it's a glitch. But then Laura starts messaging people on Facebook. And we know she messages Mitch and Blair. Do you think she messaged the others too and they just didn't say anything?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my short answer is because I don't know. They're all stupid.
They are all pretty dumb. Yeah,
they're stupid, but they also don't share a lot of things that they probably could share until it's convenient for the plot to share it. Yeah. So it makes sense that everybody got messaged and everybody was just like, well, I don't want to sound crazy by saying this to my friends who I clearly don't like and don't trust, and they don't trust me. So I have no vulnerability with these people, but we hang out all the time.
Oh, high school.
I'm trying to think who I even hung out with in high school.
We went to high school together, but we did not hang out.
But we weren't friends. Yeah.
Aw.
No.
That's fine. We are now.
Yeah.
We got through it. We got through that terrible not friend period.
Yeah. I didn't like that time. I like this time now.
Yeah, this time is better. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to think. I don't know. I didn't have friends. I'm Laura. I'm Laura in this story.
Oh no.
I don't think that anybody on this call is anybody in this group of friends.
No, I don't think so either.
At some point you would like want to relate to Blair because you're like, oh, she seems nice. And then you're like,
Blair's the one
fucking garbage.
Yeah.
Just so much garbage.
She only gets benefit of the doubt because she's audience surrogate, and that's it. Yeah. Otherwise she earns nothing. She earns no faith or goodwill or anything.
No, she seems like a goody two shoes.
Until you find out she's been fucking so-and-so the whole time.
One time.
Well,
twice.
Which also
1.5.
But which also might have been like kind of a drunky date rape situation.
I was also wondering that from the pictures. But why would she be... The movie is a bunch of people doing bad things to people, but not understanding. That's also the part that I don't like because it doesn't do suicide well and it doesn't do anything else that teenagers experience well. It is not sensitive to the subject.
Is it possible the writers and directors of this film were never teenagers?
Possibly. Or they were those teenagers, so they were the guys. So they thought that it was completely consensual.
And they were like, oh man, this is such good commentary. Like, and we've written such strong women in this movie because one of them did it. So she's strong. It's 2013. We have no idea what anything is yet.
I think that's accurate.
So Laura messages people, Mitch and and Blair like reveal to each other that they are getting messages from this dead girl. The only reason I wanted to bring up the scene is because Mitch sends Blair a link to like unexplainedexperiences.com or something. And it's an article of people being like, don't respond to the dead. It's a bunch of people saying that, oh, a dead person messaged my teacher or my friend, et cetera, and they ended up killing themselves. So like, don't respond to the dead.
Honest to God, I completely forgot that was maybe the explanation of what was going on for the entire rest of the movie.
Explanation of what's going on.
That's it. Yeah. But did he send her the link before or after she had responded to the Facebook message?
She had already responded.
Because she was like, I'm going to report you.
Yes. So she had already responded. She gets this link. She's like, let's report them. And then she tries to memorialize the Facebook page. Can you just do that?
I guess maybe you used to be able to. I don't know. I feel like people complain at how difficult it is to do that.
You can add a secondary to your Facebook. I don't use my Facebook anymore, but Kelly, one time I added you as my secondary to Facebook.
Oh, you're probably my secondary. Yeah.
Aw, that's friendship.
So if anything ever happens, you are taking over my account.
I'm probably just going to delete it. Is that okay?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Please. There's nothing worth saving on that one.
No, me either.
So is that what is the movie saying that anytime a ghost tries to connect with you through the internet, if you respond, you will kill yourself afterward?
For sure.
No, there were a couple options. So on unexplained.com or whatever, it was like 1, they possess you. 2, they ruin your life. 3, you kill yourself. There was a 4, I don't remember what it was.
You can tell the truth. All you have to do is tell the truth.
That's right. 4 is
that's what it was. All you have to do is tell the truth.
But then I don't know. Okay.
Yeah.
But that's problematic because that undermines anything important about Laura as an individual to the story. Because it's just like anytime anybody is dead, they can message you on social media. And if you answer, you're dead.
Yeah. It's not about Laura.
But isn't it supposed to be about Laura? Isn't that what this should be about?
I mean, you're writing a movie in 2022. This movie was 2014.
I feel like if I was writing this movie in 2014, I would have asked the same question. I feel like if a room of people sat down, they would have been like, I don't know.
Nate, you're ahead of your time. Yeah, I don't know. I can't remember how sensitive the world was in 2014.
Moderately,
not
but
very.
Not extremely. Yeah.
I mean, we were all living under the haze of like, well, Obama's still president, so everything is fixed.
Yeah,
we don't have any problems.
Nice.
Does that unexplained, unexplained mysteries blog constitute showing the monster? Like, does that unwind this for the premise of this podcast? Because I was going to praise the movie for not showing the monster, but now I'm wondering.
The very end, am I right?
They didn't show it, and it was bad.
It was real bad.
They did like the cheapest jump scare at the end just to give you a little shake. But like they showed you the monster.
Yeah.
The movie showed its ass in 15 minutes, and then we were just like, oh, okay.
I don't think that the blog constitutes showing the monster.
Yeah.
Like I don't have a problem with knowing
what the
lore.
monster is.
Yeah.
We can know what the monster is, and
like give me the mythology. Let's dive into the mythology even.
Yeah, that's fair because like Mothman prophecies, right? Like Richard Gere looks at sketches of the Mothman several times before later in the movie it appears in a sort of shadow. Yeah, okay, never mind. I retract my comment.
The movie did do a good job of not showing the monster until that last scene.
Yeah, I wish that last scene didn't. I know we're talking a bunch of shit about this movie, so I do want to say that I enjoyed sitting through it.
Oh, I had a fun time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh yeah. No, it wasn't an unenjoyable thing.
Positive, and we're like, it was one of those horror movies that you just like are like, oh yeah, my heart rate's a little elevated throughout this entire thing, and then
give it a watch.
It ends,
fun.
and
it definitely like. I watched it late enough at night that it stuck with me, and I had a hard time falling asleep. That was not the situation I had with the other film that we're going to talk about. I felt like pretty relaxed after that one. This one really kind of stuck with me, mostly because because
you filmed somebody in a tenuous situation in high school.
I ran a very highly subscribed YouTube channel for a while. I had to archive on Vimeo, so I can give you the password. No, but I mean, there are some really brutal shots in this that are really powerful. I just think it's sort of got bad filler.
Yeah. Let's talk about some of those brutal shots. So let's just jump into.
I feel like a lot of the other parts we would talk about, if we went little by little, it would just be like, oh, somebody pulled up a chat thing, and then a chat thing happened, and then they.
Yeah, there's a lot of chatting going on.
Yeah, because the plot of the movie is Laura over time basically just starts like revealing more and more that this is her. Mm-hmm. Blair figures out it's her.
Yeah.
Then Laura like makes one of them kill themselves, and then they
followed by the next, basically.
Right, because the first one that kills herself is the one that drinks bleach.
She drinks bleach,
yeah. So Val drinks bleach. They all frantically Google what the police are saying over the radio through the Skype that's active.
And I was like, Chelsea, I bet she knows what these codes mean.
I do. I did not, because those aren't accurate codes.
Those aren't accurate
and
codes.
And they do change
Chelsea was a police dispatcher for a little while. I was wondering about that. I was wondering about the logistics of changing codes between jurisdictions.
Yeah, you can't
you
can't just
I was like, we should probably have federal codes, because what if you change jurisdictions, you're going to get your numbers all mixed up. Anyway.
Somebody... A goose is driving a bus? It's like, no, it's not that at all.
Why do we have a code for that?
As I was listening, I was like, that's not correct at all. What's happening?
But yeah, so there's like an initial suicide. Everybody starts getting shaky. And then they start kind of like trying to, they do the Trojan thing. Ken tries to get rid of her. Then Ken's out because how dare you try to boot me from the situation. But again, like, Ken seems otherwise not Ken's. To have done something wrong. But yes, let's talk about Ken's.
No, Nate, you're right. Ken didn't seem to have done anything wrong. Maybe he did some like kill yourself, Laura posts.
Yeah.
But the thing that she really seems to be taking vengeance on is that he tried to leave the call and tried to make her leave the call. So his death is, let's all say it on 3. 1, 2, 3, stupid. Oh, just
I was going to say bad. Should we try that again?
1, 2, 3, stupid.
I was going to say blender.
It is batshit.
It's like, so funny. I like rewound because I couldn't. Okay, so what happens is Laura has got a camera at the back of his room. He goes to look at it. When he finds it, he freezes just like Val did before she drank bleach. But then we see cuts of him. It's just like sporadic cuts. It's like a strobing effect almost. And he's got his hand in a blender. First of all, where'd that blender come from? Why has he got a blender at his desk? That's a question that I have.
He talks about it at the beginning because he talked about in the call that he was going to fart more because he made salsa.
Okay,
I don't know. I
have blender.
I have trouble with gluten causing that problem, but salsa and me are like, it's fine. Maybe it would aggravate my acid reflux. I'm not gonna
Maybe he was eating the salsa with pita chips or something, and that's why.
That's okay.
I don't know.
Okay.
But okay, so he's got a blender, and it's like his hands in it, and his hands just getting blended up, and we're getting these like stroby things, and we're also getting everyone on the call reacting like
Yeah. But even in these stroby situations, it looks fake as hell. Like his arm is at the wrong angle. It's like too long.
He's very clearly like holding a forearm prop and driving it into the thing.
Like it looks so goofy. So one arm is in the blender and then the other arm is banging at the blender. Did you guys see this?
Yeah, like trying to pull it's trying to pull his hand out.
But he's hitting the blender with something, and I couldn't tell what it was, but I imagine that it is an immersion blender, which is so funny to me. Like one arm is in like a smoothie
and he's
blender.
blending with the other arm.
He's got his immersion blender, like banging the blender, trying to make it stop. Double blender.
Well, you need to get that salsa real smooth if you're gonna fart, I guess.
That made me laugh so hard.
and then he's broken the blender pitcher, and his face is grinding into it.
Yeah. Oh my God, is that what happened? Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Did you miss that part where his face was?
I saw that his face was being blended, but I was like, I don't understand what happened. Is this the immersion blender at work? Like, I don't understand.
He just has like 4 sets of blenders on it.
Yeah, he's just got so many blenders at his desk.
Turns out he's like a YouTube reviewer, and
he's like, will it blend?
He's like, I'm gonna. That's the name of his YouTube channel. Will it blend?
This week on Will It Blend, I can't do it anymore. Will my face blend?
The answer is yes.
So is the mechanic of the murder that Laura is doing this? Like Laura is an unseen force making him blend himself? Or is it supposed to be that like is he possessed into doing it?
Yeah, it says in the, what was it, .net? What was the website? That
it will possess experiences. You.
Yeah, it will possess you.
So, okay. So then I guess and this is more of just like a technical question about how a possession suicide would work. But I somehow feel like it would have been scarier and more accurate for none of them to react as if they were frightened at all. Right? Like it would make more sense if he was blending himself and didn't look like he noticed.
Yeah.
Because if he's possessed, he would have no control over his body or anything. And shouldn't be reacting as if like something is making him do it. He should just be doing it with a dead face. Like, the only thing that M. Night Shyamalan ever got right was the idea that like somebody would just dead-faced lay down in front of a lawnmower and die. And that was scary as fuck to see. The rest of that movie sucks.
Yeah, I was like, wait.
The Happening.
Yeah, The Happening.
Oh,
with Mark Wahlberg and Zooey Deschanel.
Yeah, Mark Wahlberg is a science teacher.
Yeah, believable.
Yeah. The science of abs.
Lawnmower. That's it's not Insidious. Sinister?
Oh, yeah.
Another lawnmower
with
kill.
Ethan Hawke.
With Ethan Hawke.
So good.
Yeah.
Also scary. And also a situation where the people laying in front of the lawnmower are not like, I'm in front of the lawnmower. They're just like, okay. Zoop.
Yep, it's happening.
Anyway, so I don't know.
So
that was just kind of odd.
And they don't know possessions. That's what we're getting at with the director and writer so far.
Yeah.
They needed us to consult on this. Teens who have been possessed. Us.
So Ken grinds himself up. And then everybody's like, oh, my God, we're scary. And, there's only 4 of us left now. And then they have to play Truth or Dare. Or, I mean, Never Have I Ever. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Which Blair did not know how to play. And it did seem unlikely that somebody who went through that long of high school didn't have any idea of what that was.
No, I guess I didn't learn how to play till college.
Oh, okay.
I'm the Blair.
No. I think you're smarter than Blair. I'm going to be real with you there.
Thank you. So, right about this point, Adam is being a little shit, and he's been like taking shots this whole time, so he's hella drunk. And there's like knocking happening at Adam's house.
Then Blair starts to message Moses / Mitch and is like, "Stop! He's drunk. Don't push him to do anything. Don't say anything to him." And then they get into a fight
with him. My notes at this point are pretty sporadic. So they're playing Never Have I Ever. And what are the Never Have I Evers? Do you guys remember? They basically
just start to rat on each other. I think that...
Yeah. It's just a bunch of secrets that Laura has shared with some of them.
Starts doing it. Like Laura does the first couple.
Drunk Adam starts like trotting.
They say that whoever loses is going to die. So then Adam wants somebody to die. But that's after Adam gets... So what happens in that scene is that he gets pissed off because he finds out that Mitch had sold him out for drugs.
Yeah.
And then he was like, well, I slept with your lady.
Fucked your girl. Fuck you. And what we established in the beginning of the movie during Sexy Times is that Blair is supposed to be a virgin. And the first time she's supposed to sleep with anybody is with Mitch on prom night.
At homecoming.
Prom night.
Classic.
Yeah. Classic prom night.
They made a horror movie about prom night too.
Yep. Yeah. So Adam is like, oh, I fucked your girl. And then there's that video that we were talking about.
But that was earlier on. They sent them all like, here's the secret I know about you. And the one that Blair got was, you're sleeping with Adam.
So they just got photos earlier. And it was
but then he did the video.
They were like memed photos. They were like
memed photos.
Yo, I like you touching me.
Not your boy.
In bold Arial black.
Yeah, it was like I Can Has Cheeseburger, but with much more disrespectful phrasing. So at this point, Laura plays the whole video of Adam and Blair.
After she also gives the explanation. She was like, it didn't last very long. Nothing happened. It wasn't really
that was
a thing.
Funny, right? And Adam's like, fuck you.
Here's this long romantic video or whatever. It's not like romantic,
it's
but
the Skinamax
Skinamax
film roll.
There's like a fireplace burning in the background. I don't know. And Adam is like, it was my birthday. And I'm like, that doesn't make it better.
Yeah. No.
I do sort of respect that Adam like went down on her almost immediately, which was kind of a chill thing to do.
I was like, A+ Adam.
I mean, based on like the douchiness that he projected, you would think he would be like a forcing a head in the lap kind of guy.
Right.
And instead he was trying to be, a giving lover. Yeah.
I think gentleman goes a little far, but giving lover tracks.
He was something of a gentle boy.
Yeah.
So everybody gets pissed about that.
Mm-hmm. And then at that point, doesn't Adam get the print off?
Yeah, both Adam and Blair get print offs.
Both Adam
because Mitch is like ready to leave the call.
Mitch is threatening to leave. He's like walking away from the screen. He's screaming at them. Both Adam and Blair get and I just wanted to talk about if my printer went off in this situation, I think I would ignore it. I think I would be like, I have other things to deal with right now.
I also wonder who has their printer on all the time.
Yeah.
Mine's not even plugged in unless I'm using it. And granted, if that was the case, that would be way spookier. If they were like,
your printer's off and it still is printing. Yeah, that's scary. Yeah.
I do not own a printer.
You're a true millennial.
Yeah.
Welcome to 2022.
Nate and I are elder millennials. So
we are elder millennials.
I'm even trying to reduce my plastic right now. So paper is not anything I'm trying to add into my
Every morning I wake up and I print all of my Facebook notifications. I go through them in the dining room over a cup of coffee.
Pin the important ones to the wall. I'll get back to this later. So their printers go off and Mitch is like, show me what it says. And Adam was like, I can't. And everybody's like, shut up, Adam. You're not a part of this. So Blair is like, I can't show you what it says. But then Laura says, if Mitch leaves, he'll die.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is the first like big atrocity we see from Blair. She shows what her printed page says, which is in big letters. If you reveal this printout, Adam will die. And so Adam dies immediately when she reveals it. But we see his printout that says the same thing, but about Blair. So she was pitting them against each other.
And Adam didn't, to his credit, show the thing.
Yeah.
No, Adam didn't show the thing. He did use that gun that he's been waving around for half the movie.
Yeah, that was not very smart.
Yeah.
It was also very odd that, like, how irresponsible. I mean, I guess, like, he's definitely maybe the type of character who would have.
He is drunk and he is full of testosterone. I don't know.
That's true.
Yeah.
Do you think it would have enhanced the film if it had been in Comic Sans? Wingdings. Like they're not being like, I don't know what the fuck that says.
I mean, I think it would have added a level of horror if we saw the sign in Comic Sans. It's like, oh god, that's the way that you find out.
This is not a funny joke, Laura.
They could have weaved so much comedy into this and made it more enjoyable for us.
Okay, so Adam kills himself.
Then Blair gets on chat roulette to try to find help. Do you guys remember chat roulette?
Jess. Yeah. And I feel like that was pretty accurate about who popped up on it. And then she
just wieners.
It didn't like, it got to a point where it was like not a dick, but almost a dick. And she's like, oh God. And I was like, yeah, I mean that I'm surprised you only got one dick during that time.
I'm pretty sure that was a dick. It looked like a dick to me.
He still had clothing on it.
Tiebreaker. Dick.
Yeah, no, I mean, it was definitely supposed to be a dick. I think it was like it was slightly veiled. It was sort of.
It was like a blurry dick.
They were trying to avoid getting like an X for showing a dick, probably because
it was a dick.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I was shocked at how little. Like it should have been every other time she changed it. I know, right? Like I mean, I wasn't a chat roulette. I did Omegle a lot whenever I was in high school. But
sorry, did you call it chat roulette?
Fuck you.
Oh,
is it roulette?
I thought it was roulette.
It's roulette. Yeah. Why would you use chat roulette as the way to get out of this, though?
So the reason she went to chat roulette is because they had like tried to call 911. Adam had tried to call 911, and Laura answered. And then they had tried to, what did they try to do? They tried to do something else from the computer and like it wasn't letting them. So I think she went to chat roulette because it was like through the computer. not the phone. Like, this is our one way out.
But why wasn't Laura in there too? If Laura's in Skype and Facebook and presumably every other like internet app, why?
Chat Roulette came out late 2013. Laura had already died.
Laura had not used it in life, so she couldn't use it in death.
About Chat Roulette. That's my best.
Oh man,
answer.
so this means that Laura can't use Spotify either.
No, although she did in the movie.
She
did use Spotify.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess so. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Whoops. Okay. Well.
So yeah. So then, and this chat roulette sequence is like there's the dick, but it's also like kind of hilarious because Blair is frantically trying to find someone to help.
People are not listening to her. Literally
nobody is there for anything, and it kind of didn't work. Like I know what they were trying to do, but it was it wasn't like Jamie Lee Curtis like running through Haddonfield, like pounding on doors, trying to get somebody to like come out and help. It felt silly.
It felt pretty silly. It was very funny. Especially the like couple. Were they German? They were
German or Dutch.
German or Dutch, and they were just like repeating what she was saying. I was like, oh my God, can you imagine being in this situation? And just like a couple of Dutch folk just repeating what I would scream. Stop it with your accent. I hate it.
But she finally gets a young woman in Nevada.
Yeah.
To who is willing to make a long distance call to the whatever.
It's
where were
2014.
they?
We had like cell phones. They were in Fresno,
I guess it wasn't
California.
Long distance. It didn't really matter. But yeah, so she'll call Fresno police to go over to the other girl's house.
So she's going to Jess, not Blair's.
Yeah, right. Because Jess is hiding in her bathroom.
Yeah.
Or hiding in the room that's presumably in the one house.
She does affect it because she's not able to send the address the first time.
She's not able to send the address the first time. You're right.
And then she sends it after that. So she does affect it, but not always.
She's just not very strong. She hasn't learned the code for chat roulette yet. She doesn't know how to manipulate.
She just accidentally did it once and she was like, oh, yes.
She like knows JavaScript, but not React. This is a niche joke for Grant. My friend Grant, are you listening? Did I do it right? Yeah, so she tries to send the address, doesn't work, finally goes through. Presumably, the police eventually make it to Jess, but what we see in the Skype is that Jess is pretty graphically killed.
Yeah.
Like a hot curling iron in her mouth as though it were a dick. Because Jess is a slut, you know? You get it?
She gets a meme.
She gets a meme. What was her meme?
Finally, Steffu.
Ah, that's right. That's right.
It's pretty
not great. This was maybe the one that upset me the most. I didn't love this.
Well, because it wasn't. I mean, we didn't even get the sort of hilarity that came from Ken's. There was no agent.
Yeah.
Like all of her agency was taken from her until we saw the curling iron in her mouth and she was already dead.
Yeah,
which is very like it's a very horror tropey thing, but it's also kind of it's just further underlines the sort of disrespect of women that comes in horror movies, where it's like, oh, she doesn't even deserve the opportunity to be fighting on camera. It's just going to be like, no, Pop, she's already gone because this thing happened.
Yeah. That's a great point that I hadn't thought of, and like not only that, but like the Steffu thing, like they've stuck something in her mouth. So not only can she not fight, she doesn't have a voice. And it's also like slut shaming, you know? Like I don't love that.
Yep.
No, it was really the grossest thing. And there's a really gross thing that we're going to get to.
Yeah, we're coming up on it.
But it's a different kind of gross.
Well, and to that point, no female was killed on screen.
Yeah.
All males were killed on screen.
Yeah, it just happens to them.
Yeah, from the first girl, Val, like you see her post drinking.
Except Laura. Laura dies on screen.
Oh,
yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
I want to believe that that's something to like dig into.
But do you think?
No,
I think at best they thought that it was a politeness to not show the women being like actively assaulted because somehow like right, it's like we'll go soft on them other than the part where we show them gruesomely.
Yeah. No. Come on, grow up. Everybody grow up. So at this point it's just Mitch and Blair, right?
Just Mitch and Blair.
Yeah.
And they're back in another Never Have I Ever with
They're
Laura.
still in Never Have I Ever. Laura is like, it's a bonus round. And she's doing long countdowns now. Like she's done most of her countdowns were 10 seconds. A couple of them have been 30 seconds. These are all 30 seconds.
Yeah. So now she's post NBA shot clock levels.
I know and appreciate what that means.
But yeah, and she just then is like, who posted the video, right?
Mm-hmm. We see Blair typing like none of us.
And Laura's like, why are you covering for him? Don't cover for him. She's like, I like you. I respect, like, just tell me the truth.
Yeah. Come on, Blair. We're sisters. So yeah, Blair sells out Mitch. We see her typing a bunch of different things and she ultimately says it was him. Yeah, Chelsea?
But that's what she knows that Laura fucking knows everything. What the fuck? Like, why? I have all these pictures that there were never actual pictures of this incident happening. I have this video where there shouldn't have been a video of this incident
She's still trying to confess her sins. She's trying to confess her sins to get out of it up to the point that she thinks is appropriate.
Yeah, she's hedging her bets still. She still thinks that like, oh, I can get out of this just by pretending like I didn't. I mean, yeah, at this point, it really, after you've seen so many of your friends die, it seems specious that your approach would be, well, I think I can still make a deal with the devil here if I'm thoughtful. Especially from the virgin character. Like she shouldn't be, like, it would make more sense maybe if one of the other characters was like a savvy wheeler dealer type who was doing this kind of thing. She should be the one who's like, oh no, everything is falling apart. I just need to like bare my soul here.
Yeah, confess. And that's what we think that she has done. Like at some point, Laura is like, oh, so who posted all of these chats telling me to kill myself? And we see Blair like waffle. She's like, we didn't do it. Oh, I mean, and then she ultimately settles on like, we didn't mean it. So like we think that we've seen her Blair her soul. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Apology not accepted on that one. Jeez,
That's
Kelly.
fair. That's fair. I hope I get murdered. But we think that we've seen her like confess, but it keeps like escalating. So in this scene, we see her saying that she knows Mitch uploaded the video. So, and we're like, okay, that's gotta be it. Like Mitch jams that knife into his eyeball and we're like, okay, we're done. But Laura's like, just one more thing.
Just one more thing. Here's the extended Patreon director's cut of the video.
You can see it behind this paywall.
And my note at this point, because I didn't realize that the longer video was coming, because the movie is called Unfriended, I was like, does she just need to refriend her? Does she just need to refriend her on Facebook and everything will be okay?
It'd be such a nice ending. Like,
just refriend her and then you can just, and then it'll be fine.
It would have made the title make more sense.
Yeah. So, yeah, she shows Blair the longer cut of the video, which reveals that Blair filmed the video, which we never talked about.
Yeah. They show that video a lot too.
They really do.
They're really proud of the content that they made because they keep reminding us of something that we don't really need to be reminded of.
No, we got it.
Yeah.
Laura gets really drunk at like an outdoor beach party or something and passes out.
Can't blame her for
and
that.
poops her pants. And because she's wearing like short shorts, it's
and
just
white. She's wearing white short shorts.
Yeah, she's wearing white short shorts. So this movie thinks that we need to see one at all, and then two several times, just like really gross diarrhea caked legs and pants of a passed out girl.
Yeah,
and that being the impetus for the bullying that led her to her suicide.
Yep. So Laura shows Blair this video that reveals that Blair is the one who filmed it, and not just like like she maliciously filmed it, you know, like she filmed it and it's not like whoops, it accidentally leaked. She like the last scene of the video is Blair like smiling and laughing and being like, got her, which calls back to an earlier scene in the movie where Blair was trying to memorialize Laura's Facebook, and all of the things that she filled in were, she like clicked submit, and all of the things that she filled in, like name, email address, link to proof of death, were replaced with I got her. So like that's what that last line was.
That's the most creative thing that they did with the whole movie. I didn't even notice.
Yeah. Maybe it's way smarter than I ever thought, and every part of it had a meaning, and I'm just not there. No,
here's the new format of the podcast. We're going to watch a movie, do the podcast, rewatch the movie.
Redo the podcast.
Because I feel like every time we're like, oh my God.
Yeah, no, I still don't think the movie's smart. That was a really good part. But no. I don't feel dumber for watching it, but I don't feel smarter. Or are you just going to not respond to dead people? Is that the lesson?
No, I'm trying to think like...
No cyberbullying. Don't cyberbully or
no cyberbullying. I would never cyberbully.
As with everything in America, don't do it not because it's wrong, and you should understand that, but because there will be consequences.
Or
there's a movie about it.
Yeah. We don't want to pave over that. So after she shows her the video of Blair doing the thing,
you're right.
We see the monster.
We gotta actually talk about the monster. Huge mistake.
Just like gross, like heavy eye makeup, girl
mistake.
face flying at the camera.
It looks like the gal from The Ring.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
And like I'm okay. I'm okay with a snippet of monster. I've never been against snippets of monsters.
No, love a snippet.
Like, I'm okay with a snippet.
Love a snippet.
And we'll talk about that in our next episode about snippets of monsters. But this one, like, I didn't think she looked that scared. She just looked like a woman yelling.
No, it just looked bad. Like if they had never shown it and had just shown Blair dying somehow.
Yeah. Or didn't even show her. If they just ended it. If they ended it
honestly,
like
it could have just gone to darkness.
Yeah.
That would have been fine because we would have wondered what was going to happen.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. That would have been way better. Like this is where their $1 million budget went into this horrible CGI. Who played Blair? Is she somebody like I know?
She is Shelley Henning. She's great, and I feel like I just ruined her last name. She's in Teen Wolf. I don't know her from Teen Wolf, but Teen Wolf,
the movie from the 80s? No,
the TV show.
Okay, got it.
Hennig, not Henning. Hennig. But she's been in stuff. She was in Ouija.
I have seen Ouija, the sequel.
Oh, okay.
So good.
I don't know if she was in that one.
I don't think she was. I would have recognized her. But Ouija, the sequel, what is it called? Ouija 2.0. Ouija
Origin of Evil.
Ouija Origin of Evil.
I did see that.
It's pretty good.
Yeah. She was in the just original Ouija. And it came out around the same time that this came out as well.
Wow. Okay.
Let me look at the rest of her IMDb. But
she's very
I don't know
pretty.
if she had like photographs. Yeah, very pretty. I don't know if she had like photographs that I like, or she was featured on somebody I know that's a photographer's page. But I follow her on Instagram, and she seems like a pretty chill person.
She reminds me of somebody. I was like, she's a YouTuber. I think she's a YouTuber. But that's when I thought that the movie was made like a couple years ago and just set in 2013.
She is in a horror movie called Gatlop that just came out in 2021. I say that like it's not 2022. Yeah, but it sounds great. It's a comedy horror movie. A group of friends reunite for an evening after one of their own has a gnarly divorce. I'm sorry, I'm bad at reading, you guys.
No, you're crushing it.
It's been almost a decade since they were all together, waxing nostalgic, they decided to play a drinking game, but this is no ordinary game. If they don't bond together to confront their past, they'll be forced to play a game for eternity. Okay, I was wrong. It
Never Have I Ever. They're going to play Never Have I Ever.
It didn't look like that. They're a die. And cards. I got excited because they were dying cards.
You know what? Here's another thing I wanted to talk about in this movie. The way they did Never Have I Ever, they were like 5 fingers up and then they like put down their pinky first. I don't know. They were doing like crazy things with their fingers.
Yeah, it's like in Inglourious Bastards when the guy gets killed because he doesn't signal 2 correctly for the Germans.
Two instead of 2. Yeah. I was just like, what are you guys doing? This isn't how I play. Are we done? Have we wrapped up this movie?
I think we may have. Wait, I had one thing to say. Okay, so if we had rewritten this movie, obviously we would not have had Laura be the antagonist. It would have been some kind of a demonic possession, right? Is that what we agree on? Because I wouldn't have Laura come back.
I mean, if Laura's going to come back, Laura needs to be not simply an antagonist, but more complicated than that, right?
Yeah.
Like,
I agree.
If Laura was a little more of like a Saw, like a Jigsaw type antagonist, less edgelordy than Jigsaw, but like something in that realm, it would have worked for me. But as it stands, it's just sort of like malicious killing machine that doesn't even have like, it's not about anything other than reveal. Like
it's just revenge.
She's just there to reveal the plot so that we can have a Sixth Sense-esque, oh, that's what happened the whole time moment.
Yeah.
That isn't even that rewarding.
So as I go through the movies, I'm trying to predict what the ending is going to be. And I want Mitch to be the murderer or a big part of it. Because every time
he was so superstitious the whole time.
Well, and she's typing to him. And I was like, is that really him? You can't see his face. His hands are up. Are his hands up?
Yes,
he's moving around. He's moving around in the corner. I don't think he's typing to you right now. I don't think that's him. Like, I wanted that whole thing to be fleshed out into something. And maybe they did in the longer cut. But I was very disappointed that any conversation she had with Mitch was actually a conversation she had with Mitch.
Yes.
And now we can wrap it up. But that was my main point that I wanted to make.
No, there was even a specific point. Like at the beginning, I was like, got it. She's talking to Mitch. But there was a point where I was like, I don't think this is Mitch.
Well, because he kept sending her stuff. And even when he sent her the thing that was like, don't respond, but maybe tell the truth. Like, I was like, well, he's telling her to tell the truth. Maybe that's her. Maybe that's her all along. And then, I don't know, maybe at the end of it, all the conversations she had with Mitch were actually with Laura.
Which would have been a cool thing to show us in a real way. That would have been interesting. It would have been cool if Mitch had been Laura the whole time. Because then we would have entered into some sort of like interesting broken hearts, romantic sort of motivation too. Like, who knows? Like, this could have been so much more compelling if it was like, oh, it wasn't just that, because we don't even really understand what they didn't like about Laura that prompted them to think this was okay. Like, it's so soulless. I mean, and not that it would be better if it was like, oh, Laura was gay and had wanted to do something with Blair, and Blair was so grossed out by it that she set up this revenge thing, and that's sort of this thing is that, oh, well, Laura's in Mitch this whole time as a way to get close to her and then eventually undo her. That would be cool. But
you just rewrote the movie.
All right, let's see if we can buy the rights to the title.
I think we just have to wait. We're doing it right now. Okay, let's start now.
5 years.
No, we'll just call it Unfollowed.
Ooh. Well, I'll be just a Twitter screen, no actual like Zoom calls or anything. Just the entire story told through Twitter.
You just have to read the whole time.
It'll be a prestige film because subtitles.
Why would you need subtitles? It's all in text anyway.
Well, there'll be subtitles for the voiceover reading the text slowly.
Oh, okay. Good point.
It'll be like Ghost Rider. Do you guys remember the show Ghost Rider on PBS? I might just be the oldest enough person here that I know what this thing is. There was a show on PBS about a ghost that would come and like write messages to this group of kids, and they would solve mysteries.
Oh,
it was really.
I was thinking of Ghost Rider. You know, Nicolas Cage.
Oh yeah. No, not
that's where my brain.
Not the Marvel property.
Okay,
but yeah.
I know what you're talking about now.
yeah. And that show was so couched in like text slowly filling a computer screen, and then a kid reading it extremely slowly too. So it was like you already read it like 5 times, and it's just the ghost saying something like, "You should check the trash can," and then they're like, "You should check the trash can." The trash can. And then they would type back, and they would read what they were typing back slowly too.
Oh no.
Thank you, Ghost Rider. We will check
So it's writer?
Trash can.
Writer?
Yeah.
Ghost writer, like someone who gets paid to create content for people. Yeah, but it was an actual ghost.
Got it. Okay.
It took the form of like a tiny ball of light that would fly around and bounce into Apple IIs and stuff.
That's like basically what ghosts look like most of the time.
Why would they have to take the form of a person? Like, ditch that. Be a little a point of light, a will-o-wisp.
A little, what do they call them? Orbs. Just be a little orb.
Yeah.
Just be a little
better
orb.
To ponder you by, my dear.
No.
Pondering orbs. Anyway, there's an whole internet meme thing about orb pondering.
No, that's not old. That's recent.
Yeah. It's recent and it's silly and it impacted me deeply. So
gotta ponder them orbs. Okay, so this has been Never Show the Monster. I'm Kelly Attaway.
I'm Chelsea Hollander.
And with us is Nate Ragolia for a very special episode. This has been so fun. Thank you for joining us.
Well, thank you. This was great. I can't wait to talk about the other movie we watched.
And if you want to find Nate elsewhere, you can find him at A Vague Idea podcast, which is a whole network now. So plug the rest of your stuff.
Oh, yeah. So A Vague Idea is a comedy trivia podcast where we have a theme for every show, and I ask people if they have a vague idea about a variety of topics. We also play some games. Both Chelsea and Kelly have been on the show before to talk about Val Kilmer, who has probably been in a horror movie. I don't know. We didn't really touch on that. I also have a Dungeons & Dragons podcast called Roll for Blank Streets of Mage that you can find. And there are a couple other shows that are on hiatus, but one covers Sex in the City. It's called Funky Spunk. And the other talks about the Denver Nuggets basketball team. It's called Hard Pick Mining Company.
Thank you. That was great. I've got a friend who claims to be the #1 Denver Nuggets fan. I got to get him on your podcast. He's not. He talks a big game.
That's great.
Yeah, I got to recommend
That's the best person
him.
to have on a podcast is someone who thinks they know a lot about something.
Okay, and if you want to find us, we are at No Show Monster on Twitter, and we are noshowmonster@gmail.com. And if you want to get free stickers of our show art, please email us or DM us on Twitter, and we will send those your way. I was ready to launch into what we're going to watch next week, but I can't actually remember. Host. We're going to talk about Host next week.
The one thing I have to say about it is I think Unfriended walked so Host could run.
I think you're right. I think
Unfriended walked so Host could fly.
Oh,
Ooh.
amen.
I'm not bearing the lead on the end of the episode before the next episode.
All right, we will see you next week. Thank you so much.